It's Sunday, so you know what that means, even though it technically hasn't meant that in a few weeks, and that's my fault. It's time for another installment in the Triple Threat video series. Three topics, hopefully 3 minutes or less. Let's kick this bad boy off, shall we? I'm sorry, I gotta start off with something that had me laughing my ass off when I read it. Somebody that I actually kind of like in the business is Al Snow because I actually think to a certain degree he kind of gets it that, in ring work is all fine and good, but if it doesn't draw any money, it doesn't damn matter. He comes across kind of as a prick sometimes, and that's okay with me. I don't really care. And I think he has a good mind for the business, but a genius he is not. And based off of what he just recently said about TNA in an interview, I feel very validated in believing just that. This, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to read to you shows the stupidity of people involved with TNA. It shows the fantasy world that the people involved with TNA still continue to find themselves residing in. This newfangled version of wrestling bullshit mountain. Oh my God. And I quote, back in the day in the US when there were different territories and things like that, one territory would get hot, become very successful, and another would cool off. It went that way. TNA has got all the tools to be a major success and a major competitor in the wrestling landscape. Oh, there's more. It's just a matter of when, not if, it'll fall together and click. Everybody will be like, see, I told you it was going to happen, when they've been naysayers this entire time. Everybody will jump off that bandwagon at that point. I always knew that they could do it. Sure you did. Unquote. Where do you even begin? This is the same bullshit that people involved with this company have been saying, Al Snow, for over 12 fucking years, coming off of the heels of a Bound for Glory show where it was more about promoting Wrestle One than TNA, where your biggest show of the year, you didn't even have your world champion appear, let alone defend the damn belt. A company who now on Wednesday nights is getting like a .8 in the ratings. Oh, it's going to come together real quick, and you'll see, we ain't seeing nothing. That fucking company is stupid. Everybody involved with that company, from a creative process and an upper management level, is fucking stupid. And if you actually believe this shit coming out of your mouth, Al Snow, then you indeed are stupid as well. What basis in reality here are you forming this opinion off of? TNA doesn't even have a television deal right now, and you're talking about it's going to be a matter of time? It's been over 12 damn years. If it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen. You'll be lucky to survive as a wrestling company in 2015, let alone talk about being a major competitor in the wrestling landscape. Get the fuck out of here. What does everybody want? Head. And apparently Al Snow has lost his ever-loving fucking mind. When it comes to TNA, when in doubt, I say usually assume the stupid. Because TNA deserves it. They've earned that right from me and other wrestling fans just like me. And whenever I see TNA announce that they've got a big surprise or they've got something earth-shattering in the works, I know immediately that my bullshit detector is going crazy, and I know that this is TNA trying to sit there and take some C or D list type of person and trying to pump them and promote them up, with what little promotion and marketing they do, mind you, into some type of big-time deal. Or they're going to take something that is completely mundane and so-so and try to make it the most awesome thing possible. And I'm seeing some reports now that this big, huge surprise that TNA and in particular Dixie Carter is pumping out there and tweeting about and talking about is that they're trying to sit there and make it seem like the return of Kurt Angle to TNA is a big-time shock and an earth-shattering move. No TNA, no Dixie Carter. The big surprise at this point would be if you got a real deal, legit television deal that didn't require you to have to scale back your operation by 50% or more. That would be the big earth-shattering, shocking news to the wrestling industry. This company just really is that fucking stupid. I mean, Kurt Angle, I feel, has done a lot for TNA. He's been one of those few guys that actually went to TNA to try and do something positive for TNA. He actually tried to help the company. He actually tried to help get people over. He actually worked hard. He actually tried to make TNA a better place. I have my own thoughts in certain ways on Kurt Angle, but one thing I will never take away from him is that I feel like he is one of those people when it comes to TNA that deserves a tremendous amount of respect for the hard work and effort and dedication, in my opinion, that he has shown to the company over the years. With that said, though, if you were getting to the point where the big surprise in your earth-shattering news is that Kurt Angle is returning to your company, that's the best you've got, then this is just another example of Dixie Carter and TNA, with whatever remaining credibility that they have, which is practically none anyways, losing even more. You know, when you say this type of stuff, it really needs to be a surprise. It needs to be a shock. Now, if you were sitting there and talking about you were signing CM Punk and he was coming to the company, that is earth-shattering. That is something that would shake the wrestling industry up. But we know that ain't fucking happening. Your big surprise is that Kurt Angle isn't going anywhere. Well, whoop-de-doo! This last part of the triple threat is actually me asking all of you out there something. What do you think is the biggest problem with wrestling today? Look, let me say this from Jump Street. There are some people that will watch this video that are entertained by certain things in the wrestling business right now. And if you are, then God bless you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I really, truly am. But I even think those people that are being entertained by what's going on right now have to be honest enough to say, this is not a great time for professional wrestling. This is not one of these great boom periods for professional wrestling. And it's been that way for years. And I mean, you've got the people involved with wrestling and even some of the fans that have bought into this, talking point over the years, talking about, well, wrestling goes through ups and downs. There's boom periods and there's lulls and da da da. Well, you know what? The lull's been there for 12, 13 damn years. I mean, the lull has gotten lower over the past few years, but this is a pretty big lull. This is a pretty big wrestling recession. So I don't see where people can automatically say that, hey, it's going to get better. What factual basis are you basing that viewpoint off of? So I ask you guys, what do you think is the biggest problem with professional wrestling today? Is it just the fact that professional wrestling is kind of an outdated art form and the times have changed and professional wrestling is not a part of what pop culture wants today? Is that part of it? Is it the lack of competition in the industry? Is it Vince McMahon? Is it Dixie Carter? Is it the internet? Is it the fact that we all know what goes on? Even if we aren't supposed to know, we still know. We know about backstage crap. We know about politics. We know how matches are booked. Even those that want to say that we don't know, well, we know more than enough to understand how the majority of the secrets are done. There's not that big curtain anymore. Is that the biggest problem? Is it us as fans? Are we the biggest problem? Do we not unify enough in our voice, or do we not set clear enough expectations of what we want? I'm really curious here, because like I said, even if you're enjoying wrestling right now, I don't really think you could sit there and say this is a great time or a boom period for professional wrestling. I think a lot of people would actually say that their interest is either at or near an all-time low for them personally. So what is the single biggest problem in your mind in professional wrestling? Knowing that, in my opinion, there are many problems on many different levels. The people in the business and their attitudes, the wrestling industry being stuck in its own wrestling bubble, what have you. But what is the biggest problem? What's the single biggest obstacle, in your opinion, to the professional wrestling industry as a whole changing and becoming better and the landscape looking better for years to come? I want you to tell me down below in the comments section. And also let me know what you think about Al Snow's thoughts about TNA being right around the corner from becoming a major competitor in the wrestling landscape. And let me know what you think about TNA's big surprise. Am I right? with what the reports are saying? Is it just going to be Kurt Angle and it's going to be another stupid thing? Is it going to be an entirely different yet equally stupid thing? Is it actually going to be a real deal legit surprise? I can't even say it with a straight face, and TNA is going to shock us all. I want all your thoughts on all these things in the comment section below. I'll be back again Sunday for another installment of the Triple Threat video series.